Hey, what's going on? This is Levi Apparel. Like and subscribe. We're going to do another talk. All right, we're back. I lost connection for a little bit, but that's okay. This calendar 2022, I guess, start of the new calendar year. A lot's happening. I have so much in the works that some things like I really want to share it, but I can't. But thank you for being with me, for being a subscriber. Like, it's been really rough the past videos. You know, I'm getting to learn. I just got disconnected for a second. I'm gonna see who's there. If you're there, just say hi so I can shout you out. If I can pronounce your name right. All right, thank you for liking and subscribing. Okay, so today we're doing another sublimation talk. Remember, I said this whole month is going to be focused heavy on sublimation. Good news and some bad news. Good news is I did the printhead cleaning. I'm getting the video ready. Who's that? Okay, I see Taylor. All right, looks like Jocelyn Taylor, I believe. Hey, what's going on? Welcome again to Levi Apparel. You know where it's at. So yeah, so basically what we talked about previously, if you've tuned in or if you haven't, I'm gonna do a recap. We've talked about like doing sublimation, converting printers. Currently what's going on is I purchased a printer from eBay. Now whenever I purchase paper, I'm confusing print and purchase together. That's why I had to like get my mind right. So I don't know why that got on. Anyway, so whenever I purchase printers from eBay, I know they usually have issues. I'm not worried. All right, looks like we have somebody else that just joined. I can see oh, hi. I think I saw Jose on there. What's going on? All right, so like and subscribe, Levi Apparel. Yeah, so what ended up happening is, oh, hi Levi. Oh, hey, what's up? Whenever I purchase printers from eBay, I love when they have issues because it helps me get to know the printer a little bit better. It creates the intimacy of breaking the printer apart, learning how the printer is made, learning about different components, and increasing my craft. Whenever you own your own like business, you're the CEO, you're everything, and you know, from let's say the janitor all the way up to the CEO, right? So IT is obviously involved. You gotta know about different things about your printers, which is I'll say clutch, because whenever you want to get a bigger printer, if somebody's posting a printer and they said the only issue is like printhead issues, stop it. You always get a brand new printhead, right? Imagine printers are like cars, right? So when you have a printer, let's see, kind of driving do you have? Any IG? Yeah, I do. So on all social medias, I'm exactly the same name. Levi Apparel on YouTube, Levi Apparel on Instagram, Levi Apparel on TikTok, Levi Apparel on all my social medias. Right? So you just check it out. Now I am, even though I'm trying to do more lives and more videos on YouTube, I am more active on Instagram, because Instagram is an app on my phone, and whenever I take pictures of what's going on and what are my plans, this and that, I normally post it on Instagram, where you can see things and understand what's going on with the YouTube channel a little bit more. You just post pictures and like little different videos, so I don't have to worry about like too much, you know, posting on YouTube, because YouTube is more video heavy. So I do more of my videos over there, because I can do long videos to help you understand what's going on with the shop, the whole process. And for those of you who are just starting and wants to know what's going on, it's a perspective on how a beginner print shop, you know, host, creator, whatever you want to call me, does this thing. Printer does this thing. So the main focus of this month, like I said, is sublimation. With sublimation, you can do anything and everything, right? Normally, let me start off by giving you the topic so I can stay on the topic, and then I'll go into rants afterwards and give you what's coming up. All right. So currently, I believe today is January 14th. And being that it's January 14th, there's like a couple things that I want to get done to actually amp up this whole sublimation production. I got a lot of things ready for sublimation. I got sublimation earrings. Thanks to AW Production, check his channel out. I won one. I have all these different things to put on sublimation, as far as having sublimation blanks, right? The blanks are just hats, mugs, all these different things that you can do to put on to create your sublimation process. I even have sublimation polyesters, right? Like the little square blank polyesters you can put on shirts. So I have all that, and the reason why is because I have been focusing my business mostly on sublimation. That is the, what do you call it, that is what I want to be known for in my company, mostly for doing sublimation, right? I do a lot of other stuff, but you know, when it comes to sublimation, like, there's just so many nuances. No, not nuances, I use the wrong word. There's so many avenues you can take, right? Different routes. You can go into doing sublimation where you don't do shirts, hats, any type of wear apparel at all. You can just focus on sublimation for decorative wear, you know, pictures, glass, whatever. There's even, you can even do like sublimation in posters, right? That's just one of these things that sublimation offers, that a lot of people don't realize that there's market for. All you need is just a blank surface that's sublimated, I mean that has poly coating, right? And once that blanks material has that, you can sublimate anything on it, you know? Especially if the material is white, you can sublimate anything. Like you can sublimate anything on there, and what will happen is whatever flag you want, whatever, because there's this flag cartoon they have. It's like a little kid with a big hat and a puffy outfit, and he's just holding the flag in his hands, like, of whatever country, and he's dressed in the apparel of whatever country, right? So if that's your thing, you could do that too. You know, put any type of sublimation on it. Mask, you can sublimate mask, right? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you something. Okay, so beginning is just gonna be talking about sublimation blanks. Then after sublimation blanks, we're gonna go to what you can do, different type of businesses and sublimation. And then we're gonna wrap up with like printers, what's coming up as far as the video for sublimation. But first, let's finish off this blank, and I'm gonna add a little thing in there before I talk about different type of businesses and sublimation. So that's after I talk about sublimation blank. So in sublimation blank, you can do all that, right? Even like vinyl, you can sublimate vinyl, right? All it has to be, the material has to be made with polyester coatings, right? So hey Greenhouse, what's going on? I seen your video. Just quick, what's up, man? Sorry, it went invisible. Let me try and get it back. I gotta press the little chat thing and then live chats. All right. Going in my shop where you are. Anyways, I'm driving. I need to focus. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right. So yeah. So basically, that's sublimated blanks, and there's a lot more you can do into sublimation. There's there's also a way you can do sublimation. Just saying, I had that long video play, LOL. So thank you. So again, sublimation is pretty awesome. I love it. That was State Police. That was back there. Woo. Good thing the car in front of me wasn't driving that fast. It was able to brake in time, so I was able to brake in time. Nice. Yeah. So like I was saying, sublimation blank. Yeah. Well, speaking of cars, you can sublimate. We call it plates. You know. Specialty license plates, because even though you don't put it on the car, people like certain wordings be on plates sublimated. You can do that. Like, there's just so many. So that means you can sublimate metal, you can sublimate plastic, you can sublimate anything that will allow you to apply sublimation on it via heating process, right? I say heating process because I have an easy I forgot what you call it, but it's the Cricut Easy Heat or something like that. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, I have that. I have a heat press machine. So I was trying to stay away from saying heat press machine because people have different ways that they apply the sublimation on. Some people have a regular iron. They just, if you want to use an iron, the only thing you have to do is just remove the water that's there, and you can sublimate by bringing your iron to, I think, about 350 degrees if possible, and you just keep going over it, I guess, for like a couple of sublimation. Works best when it's at least the minimum 320 degrees. To get the best result, you want 350 to 400 degrees at 60 seconds, right? So that's like pretty much a minute. So if you're doing it by hand, it's probably gonna take you a couple of minutes, right? Because you have to get every surface when you're using an iron. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't say a heat press, right? So the right amount of heat ensure to the substrate that allows you to use heat, you can sublimate on that blank, right? So that's that portion that has nothing to do with apparel wear, like clothing, or hats, mugs. Or hats. You can do like the mug. A lot of people don't know. Like I used to well, I still do. Sometimes when somebody asks me for mugs, I get excited because usually once one person gets a mug, you get another order of mugs because whatever image you put on there, that person that's delivering that product to their customer or friends and family, they tend to forget about somebody, or somebody sees it and says, hey, what about me? So mugs, tumblers, like these type of, like whenever you have sublimation, like it's hard. I'm losing my wording because I'm thinking of just so many things you can do in sublimation. You don't even need to do a print shop for clothing where you can do a sublimation for mugs, sublimation for hats. You don't even have to focus on everything. You can have one niche. By niche I mean like one subject focused on, right? When it comes to sublimating in a blank, and you choose whatever blank you're going to go with and specialize in it and do only that. Like some people only do sublimated mugs. They offer obviously different type of mugs, right? You'll have the mugs that's all in black. You put water, like hot water in it, or any material that's hot. The color changes to white, and if you sublimate that mug, whatever image is on it that's the image that's going to show, right? Because with sublimation you need a blank white surface to apply full color onto. If you have any surface that's dark, the color is going to be muted, or you're not going to see it at all, right? So sublimation has a lot to offer. You don't have to do t-shirts, you don't have to do hats, mugs. You don't even have to focus on fabric. You can focus on metal, you can focus on plastic, you can focus on glass. You can do whatever you want with sublimation. And sublimation in itself has possibilities for you to start multiple companies within companies, right? You can have, like for example, I'm going to use this for educational purposes, right? If you go to Discount Mugs, you're thinking you're going to get mugs, but in fact they have hats, shirts, pens, anything. Most of those things, whatever machine they use to put the logo on, that's what they use. I don't know, so I'm not gonna speculate or say anything. But that's the same thing they're doing for the pens. You can do that too. You can order some blank sublimated pens, right? Blank pens that's able to be sublimated and able to take the heat. Obviously you move the metal parting that's in there, and if you have like a convection oven, because if it's a sublimated substrate that's allowed to be sublimated, chances are it's heat resistant. You want to make sure it's heat resistant, because anytime you're doing anything that's sublimated, you need to have heat, and heat needs to be able to apply to that substrate. Also, pressure needs to be applied to that substrate. Oh, that's the other reason why I didn't just mention having a heat press. So if you need your sublimation to go on a certain material that you're using, right? You have different type of heating process you can use. You can use a heat press, that's number one. You can use easy press, Cricut easy press, that's the name of it, right? That's another form of heat press, but it's hands on and you can move it around. You have different sizes, small, large, in between. You can use a regular iron. You just remove all the water in it, and then once you do that, you can you'll have just straight heat. You remove the water because after a while, especially the new irons, they push out heat. They push out steam by warming the water, because obviously the plant is warm, and it's that steam that goes on the shirt to give moisture to it. Now, you don't want any moisture on your sublimation substrate, because remember, the paper or material that holds the sublimation ink is not supposed to be wet, or you may not want to wet it because in case you're using a plastic carrier that can hold the sublimation, right? Like the Reveal S back then when they had it. In case you're using that, you don't want to use iron that has water, because that steam is pretty much water, and eventually the droplets are gonna get into your sublimation process and just ruin everything, right? So you want to make sure you have an iron that's with no water, right? So that's another heating element, right? That's the third one I just mentioned. The other one that is a mug press, right? There's different type of mug press and tumbler presses. They pretty much do the same thing, right? There's also hat presses that you can use to sublimate. Finally, you have ovens, right? Like, I don't recommend anybody to use an oven, but if you're in a shop that's devoted to just doing what you're doing, which is just printing, and you're able to go to like a bargain place and grab yourself like a $100 oven, right? Because you're doing like 100 sets of mugs, whatever, and you need an oven that's like huge. That's something you could do, right? But it's gonna take a lot of power, because ovens like that obviously use a lot of power, right? So you have that as a heating element, right? I'm talking about the oven that you normally cook with. It'd be a conventional oven, whatever. I wouldn't recommend that, because especially if you're just starting, because that thing is big, and anyways, that's not something I've done. I wouldn't do it. Finally, you have, in a smaller scale, right? You can order this from anywhere. Conventional oven, right? Jose on IG. Okay, just saying. Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, so you can use a conventional oven, and with the conventional oven, you can push out a lot of mugs, right? Obviously not as much as you would with a regular cooking oven, but with a small conventional oven, right? You have the space that's at least 15 by 15, or sometimes they're like 15 by 13. It depends what you have, what your spacing is. So so whatever you have, use it, and use it to your advantage. Love stick shift. All right, so let's get myself a little focus here. All right, so yeah, so whatever you have, use it to your advantage. There's different type of heating elements that I probably don't even know about or haven't used. But yeah, sublimation just needs heat for you to apply. And the heat has to be at least, I think, 320 or higher. All right, so that's one way of applying it to a blank substrate. But yeah, you have different industries you can go into. You can go into mugs, you can go into hats, you can go into clothing, you can go into different apparels, different custom wears, earrings, even certain jewelry you can do sublimation on. So jewelry. So if you're into jewelry, you can do sublimation on jewelry. I should probably do a live. I'm gonna do a video on that, and also a live, hopefully before the end of the month, so that way I can have all the bases for sublimation. like being able to do sublimation process of different things covered. But yeah, a good place, again, this is for educational purposes, to go to get sublimated blanks is Condi. I say Condi because I purchased from them before. Also, I purchased from US Cutter. So these are places I purchased and bought the equipment and the substrates, like blank substrates. So these are places that I can recommend because I've used them before. There's other places too, right? But the main, like, if you're sublimation, I try to sublimate anything and everything you can possibly get into, right? The reason why is because different sublimation processes allow you more flexibility, right? So if you're doing jewelry and you print a large sheet and the jewelry is only, say, 4 inches by 2 inches, right? Say if it's like a big earring or something like that, it would like image, like full image of whatever you want it to be. You can print a lot, like a big sheet, and put each one on and sublimate as many as you can on that sheet. You know, let's say if we're doing a guesstimate, like let's say if the sheet was big enough to fit 20, you can do 20 all at once, right? And let's say you like that process, you're like, this is easy, I can do multiple pieces at once, and they're small, so they're easier to manage and easier to ship. You can get into like sublimating jewelry. That could be something you could do, right? So there's just so many different industries in sublimation. That's why I love sublimation, because it offers you just the capability of putting prints on almost anything. Plus, you don't need a large machine to do sublimation. You just need a printer that can allow you to do either EcoTank printing, or you just use a refillable cartridge, or a printer that's already sublimation ready, right? If you're starting off, just get yourself, like I did. But unlike me, I get printers that's not working. Possibly, if you were just a regular person, you just throw it in the trash because you don't see the value in it. The printers that I get, they're like that, but I restore them because I understand those printers. I know, okay, all I have to do is just go to YouTube, check out somebody's channel, see how they fix their printer, and then I just replicate that, right? And obviously I have Epson printers. I've been using a lot of Epson printers. I know about how to get parts and all this and that, right? For me, for my purpose, I know how to do that, right? For you, I'd say just do your research. You know, if you want a 13 by 19 printer, and obviously, like I said, I was going to do the video, right? So this is me going into a rant that I said I was add a little something maybe before I go talk about, like, so I said I was talking about blanks. I talked about industries that you can go into. So yeah, basically, yeah, sublimation. But if you plan on doing stuff, yeah, the last one was like videos I was gonna tell you about, things that I got my head focused on. Yeah, so if you plan on doing sublimation, right, and you want to get the proper equipment to do sublimation, and you're not able to get your hands on the right equipment because you're strapped for cash, you don't have enough money, the best solution, in my opinion, is just get a used printer. Acrorip, Macari, Amazon, right? These are different places. I think I mentioned eBay, right? These are different places you can go. Now, I'm gonna tell you the bottom, and then I'm gonna tell you the top. The bottom to go to pretty much is Craigslist, right? Craigslist is just normal people that lives in your local area or in different locations, that when you type the type of printer you want, like let's say if you want an Epson printer, I'd recommend if you're doing Sublimation DIY to get an Epson printer, right? Hold on 1 second. Man got lips and these guys stay moist. Alright, cool. So they are the industry printers for sublimation because their nozzle heads are a lot easier to clean. They allow ink to flow through a lot easier. They're used for mostly photo printing, vivid images. They have a lot of pixels, a lot of DPIs. They're just really good, right? Yeah, they're just really good printers to use. So if you're looking into getting your own printer to start sublimation, I'd recommend starting with large printer first, right? Because small printers are okay if you're doing small items, but you want to get a large printer because eventually you're going to migrate towards a large printer like I did. Obviously, so I made the same mistake I made in the beginning when I got my Epson printer that I converted to sublimation, but it was 8x11. And then I got a larger printer, right? And I converted to sublimation, my 7710. I did 13x19. And then when I changed that to DTF, I went back and did the same thing again. I grabbed a small printer. But hey, it happens, you know. But yeah, you want to make sure, number one, I want to say right off the bat, just get you a large printer. If you're going large and you don't know how large you want to go yet, because let's say you want to have a printer that allows you enough space, you want to get anything that does 11x17 or 13x19, because that's the middle. You can work with that to make bigger prints with that, or you can work with it to make smaller, like bigger prints, but allow more smaller items to go on those prints. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So first thing you want to do to be able to get a large printer that's affordable, because right now every printer that you can imagine or try to get, like that can do 13x19, that's an Epson that allows you to use the refillable cartridges, right? Right off the bat, if you're thinking about doing sublimation with a large printer, I would say go to Amazon, right? And I'm gonna feature this on the video, so don't worry. You go to Amazon. When you go to Amazon, you want to put in refillable cartridges, Epson. It'll give you the Epson 7720, 7310, 7110, just different printers that the cartridge refillable, like it's an empty cartridge that you can fill it up and it has chips, so the chip will tell the printer there's ink, just print. So yeah, so those refillable cartridges will have the printers that's compatible with it. So you want to buy any printer that's compatible with that refillable cartridge, because if you try to get a printer that does 13x19, or you feel like, oh, I have a printer that does 13x19, and you try to go get a refillable cartridge from either Amazon or eBay or any of those places, what you'll find is most cartridges that are refillable don't have chips, so you have to buy ink, remove the chip, put it in the refillable cartridge, and if you're not careful and you mess up, then you have to buy more ink. You have to replace the refillable cartridge chip, right? So, anyways, yeah. So, yeah. So, with that said, make sure you get a printer that uses refillable cartridge. Again, go to Amazon, type in refillable cartridge. The first one, the one that pops up that has the chips and everything in there, that's the one you want. Go into the description of it. It'll tell you different printers it's compatible with. And what you want to do is Google that printer, how big it can print, by just putting the, like, for example, when I was looking for different printers, I was compatible with that, right? Because I had purchased the refillable cartridge anyways. What I did was I said, okay, I checked the 7710, and they were too expensive and not really available. 7720, they were really expensive, and whoever was selling it super high. The 7620, I saw they had a lot of them, but they were still a little bit higher than what my budget would allow. So from knowing that I was going to do all of the prints, that's the other thing. You want to make sure you have printers that's compatible with what you want to do. If you like, you know what, you don't want to get into making anything for Sublimation. That's the other thing about Sublimation process. You don't have to make Sublimation prints to go on a substrate or sublimated blank material, because materials, hats, mugs, glasses, metals, all different type of things. You don't need to print for that. Like, if you go to this for education purposes, if you go to Transfer Express, they actually will sell you Sublimation printouts that you can take and you press on a shirt or whatever you want to press it on. As long as you use the recommended heat that they provide, you're good to go. So if you are a person that's like, well, I really don't want to make anything. I just want to, you know, create the image or create the image for other people, charge them, and then sell them the transfer. You can do sublimation transfers, right? A lot of people don't realize you can do that. I have that on my website. If you want sublimation transfers, you know, I just print it out. Currently though, I am under construction. So even though you order it, it may take a while for me to get it because I need my print to be in optimal, you know, condition. So yeah, there's just so many avenues you can take with sublimation. Obviously, I'm gonna do a video on what I'm talking about. That's gonna showcase all these different things you can do with it. I'm gonna leave that for hopefully at the end of the month, or it's going to be the beginning of next month. That way I can cover all like aspect that I want to cover that I think is good information for you when it comes to sublimation, right? But if you are trying to get into the sublimation game, you definitely want to check Condi. They have really good information. Also, you can call them. They have sales reps that are doing what you're doing and can help you out more than you think, right? But yeah, for my purpose, what I'm going to be using Sublimation for is for my apparel company I pretty much started, right? So I have this channel. I do custom designs for people and stuff, but I wanted to branch out and have my own thing, so I'm not just stuck to doing what everybody wants. You know, I'm gonna do what I wanted to do also. So talk about it, because usually with sublimation, whenever people think about that's in the print industry for different type of apparels and I have different type of machines, whenever you mention sublimation, all they can think about is just a white t-shirt, you know, and then that's it. Sublimation has a lot to offer. Like, here's another thing, right? Let's say, okay, With sublimation, sometimes you do different colors. All right. Hey guys, you're back. I'm back. Woo, there's a lot of texts that was up. Yeah, so sublimation. It's beautiful, right? Okay, so we talked a lot about sublimation, different things you can do, different industries that's within sublimation. Some I haven't even tapped into yet on purpose, because there's different things that you can do with sublimation that's just beyond like screen printing and like BTF and like toner and VTG and anything that's out there. Even like a good comparison to sublimation is UV printing, right? But sublimation goes into the surface. I mean, goes into the material. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can scratch it after it penetrates through, but it don't get any scratches off of it. It is the best printing, I think, in my opinion, technology out there. Also, all these printers that's out there, before they had the printer, they had the sublimation ink. And there's just so many ways they used to use it back then. Now we're just being introduced into a new way. Sublimation printing is actually really old, right? It even goes back to dare I say it, right? If I'm not saying I'm accurate on sublimation because I am fairly new to it also, but I've done background studies. Studies to find out about it. Goes and fade, it doesn't come out. It's there, it's embedded, it's dyed into the shirt. That's basically the same process. They just made an ink that can dye the fabric, right? And the reason why you have it as sublimation ink, right? The full name is dye sublimation ink. That's the one that's made for printers. They have other dye inks that's made for fabrics, right? And other materials and things. So I'm just scratching the surface with this talk. There's like so many avenues you can go with sublimation. It's ridiculous, right? Like, for example, if you can take like metal, if you can have a car with sublimated substrate on it, you can sublimate the car with different designs instead of having to do the painting or putting the vinyl on it. And as I'm talking, they probably have that, and they probably done that already, because you can sublimate metal, you can sublimate plastic, you can sublimate even wood. There's a way to sublimate wood. Like, there's so many ways to do different things with sublimation, you know. Fabric can be sublimated. It's just so many ways and things you can do with sublimation. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, up and coming videos, I'm gonna be talking about for the next video, I'm gonna do the printhead cleaning. If the process is iffy and doesn't really, that was weird. So the light was red. As soon as I stopped, it turned green. The person walked, and as soon as they started walking, it turned green. Weird. Anyways. Yeah. So, that is sublimation. I'm gonna throw that video. I'm gonna do a video on different printers for sublimation. Oh yeah, I was talking about printers. Yeah, so with the printer, I'll recap on my printer, sublimation printers converted, like which ones to get it, yada yada. Like, but let me talk about a little bit. Yeah, I'm basically gonna focus on like different printers that's available and what you can do. I mean, the best solution is to get a brand new printer. Don't do what I did by going to eBay and purchasing a slightly where can I use disabled printer. Oh, no, slightly non-functioning printer. That's a better word. All right, because you want a printer that's ready to go for easy conversion process. You don't want a printer that somebody's been using a million times and the ink head is giving you issues, and then when you start printing, your colors are coming out funny. You don't know what to do, and now you're stuck with a printer and you're having all these type of issues. You don't want that, right? My Epson 7710 was a brand new printer, straight from Epson themselves. Epson, the actual company, right? So it was a brand new printer I got. The process was way easier than my Epson 7620, because the Epson 7620 is an old printer. On top of being an old printer, it's been discontinued. On top of being discontinued, because they stopped making it, it is the go-to for conversion process when it comes to sublimate converting printers. But that printer is old, so it's been used a lot of times. Therefore, it's gotta be brought back to its original status. So right now, all I'm doing is doing something called refurbish. I'm just refurbishing the printer. You know, I know about Epson printer that I have, or that series, enough to know how to do it, and that's why I'm doing it, right?
Take the parking ticket.
Yeah, I know enough about those printers to be able to convert them with no problem, and also to clean them with no issues. Therefore, I'm not see a really good parking waiting for me. That's what I'm waiting. That's what I'm doing right now. Come on, baby. Yeah, so Epson printers are really good. If you know how to clean them up, if you know how to convert them, if you know how they work, any issues you have, probably reason why I use a lot of Epson printers is because there's a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to fix them. I can't believe this guy. I've been waiting for this parking space and he's just gonna block this guy because he's trying to get it. Come on.